Welcome to today's Makers Monday, where we are going to be talking about the Instagram algorithm and what's working, what isn't. Please know that this is more of a conversation, less of a me telling you, all the secrets, because I'm definitely still learning too, but I feel like over the past year, I think I started, I had an Instagram since 2012, but that doesn't mean like I was posting anything. Oh, hey, mom. That doesn't mean I was posting anything like for business until maybe like February of last year. And you can kind of, if you scroll back on my feed, you can see the shift, and I think you can definitely see like the growth of the content and things like that as I've learned more this past year. So that's a little bit of a foundation for me. Thank you for, switching times with me. I know I try to be very consistent, but doctor's visits and baby brain don't mix well. So anyway, everything's fine. And today we are going to dig in to what I think about Instagram and where I do my what I think about when I'm doing my content. So basically, I know, let's just throw it out there. The algorithm is hard. A lot has changed since Instagram was first on the scene. It is a lot harder to get followers. It's a lot harder to get quality engagement, and it's a struggle, especially if you're trying to get to that 10K followers where you can get the swipe up feature and all that. So that's definitely, a goal because it makes things easier, but it's not something that I am currently living and breathing by on the day to day. So, hey, Annie. All right. So yeah, the algorithm's hard, but how much does this really matter? So when you're thinking about Instagram, I like to think of it more as a tool to make deep connections with people, especially y'all, and less about gotta get the followers. I would much rather have 500 quality followers who are there for the right reasons and are engaged and interested than those accounts that have one guy with his shirt, one picture and it's shirt off and gross. I don't need that. So let's focus on quality over quantity. So yeah, I'm going to kind of break it up. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how and what I post. I'm going to talk about how I make value added content. And I'd love to get your ideas of what kind of value added content you think would work for your business. I'm going to talk about how I like to connect in meaningful ways and quality over quantity, and then just some little tips. So I feel like this might be a long one, so, hang in there as long as you can, and if you gotta go, no worries, the replay will be up. Okay, so now that we've got a couple people here, let's start just a quick overview. So posts in my grid are usually basic information. I've got links to blogs and products and things like that. I use Later to pre-schedule my posts. I know a lot of other people use different pre-planners, but I like Later's LinkedIn bio because rather than doing a link tree in my bio, it'll be basically the pictures that are in my grid that are linked, and you click on that and it takes you right to whichever link you want to connect to. So rather than saying here are my 5 categories that you can link to, you can actually link to a specific product. So even if I'm mentioning somebody, I don't know, these beautiful earrings from Sewing Ground, I could link specifically to this product from my link tree. So I feel like it gives me a little more versatility. Anyway, so posts are basic information, especially things that I would want to live on my feed, and it acts as a mobile, what's the word I'm looking for? Resume, no, what, oh my God, you guys, it's a mobile visual representation of your artwork or your craft. I'm totally blanking on the word that I'm looking for. Portfolio! It's a portfolio. Okay, so, gosh. All right, so then stories. I feel like this is where we can get fun and kooky, and it's a little bit more personality-based. I always try to repost any reels, any IGTV, any posts that I've done, just so people are getting like, oh yeah, I should go check that out in case they missed it in their grid or in their feed. And then I also like to do like verbal updates. Like this weekend I totally spaced on the fact that I had a doctor's appointment today, so like giving those updates like, hey, it's coming. Love to do countdowns. It's also a really, really great way to get feedback from your people, the people who are watching your stories and like actually listening through and not just swiping by. Those are the people who are like very engaged in your content. So if you're thinking about adding a new product or offering a new service, that's a really great way. You've got an audience here. So like, what kind of notebook size do you like? Is it important that a paper is a certain weight, or do you not care? Do you know what that means? So it can be a really great way to gauge your audience about what they're interested in, what they know, what spots could be like an education piece to share, etc. So I really like stories. And at first I was very nervous to like put my face on there, but I don't know, I kind of like it. It's fun and the filters are fun. And anyway, so that's that. So Reels is very interesting. Right now they're still like kind of new, right? So I feel like Reels are getting more visibility, especially from people who are outside of your following. So it's a really great way to get new followers. Side note, last week I randomly had like a viral video. This is so weird, but like just some video that I posted about with the bubbles. You can see it in my Reels, but it had like 77,000 views and like 2,000 something likes. And I was like, what? That's crazy. But yeah, and so that's been like a huge momentum. So you never know what could be the thing. Like, I don't think I did anything special in that reel, like that's different from the other things that I've done, but you never know, something might just hit the ticket. But at the same time, don't spend like 1,000 hours on it, because those ones are usually like, what's the luck? Then you only have like 2 people who see that reel that you've worked so hard on. So if you can do like short, sweet, and easy, oh, thanks, Annie. Yeah, it was cool. So if you can do short, sweet, and easy, like I definitely recommend that. I'd love if you guys want to pop in and say if you do reels, like put a little hands up. If reels have been something that's interesting to you, or like, are you nervous about it? Like what kind of things you're thinking about reels. So yeah, and then the Instagram live, obviously I do those because you're here right now, you're seeing it. And yeah, I like this. I think it's a great way to connect and have an opportunity to have questions. I really love these Makers Mondays because it's just fun to connect with you all and, I don't know, be a resource and hear what you all have to say. So, yeah, and then you can always save those to your IGTV, which is great. So I usually repost my lives in IGTV, and then I also post like little teasers of my Tuesday tutorials in there. And sometimes if I do like a paint along, I will do that. So like if you have like a cool craft, like I know we've got a cookie in here, so seeing the process of the frosting would be just really cool. IGTV, to a lot of people just like to watch it and find it peaceful. So, oh, awesome. So Annie says, I've done reels lately, but I've been too busy to try to do more. I have so many ideas, but I forget to record content. Totally. Yes. So like getting in the habit of making videos to like then make something. Like I feel like I'm always getting the content, like I'm always filming, but then I forget to do anything about it. So like whatever step is kind of tripping you up. So Annie, maybe like you could kind of set up like some sort of camera holder over by your counter, and then it's like, oh yeah, it could be like a visual reminder to be like, maybe I should pop my phone up in there. I know once I put one on my desk, it was like, I should record this. So now it's just like putting words to action, in terms of me actually making something from it. So anyway, yeah, that's cool. I think it's reels are a really fun way to kind of just play around. And one thing that can help, I found, is if you use like the trending songs. I don't know that this is like new information, but if you use the trending songs, I feel like it's more likely to get shown. So even if you're kind of like, I don't know if this song represents me, I don't think it really matters so much. I think it's more like, will it get seen, and maybe you'll get a couple new people who are interested in your stuff. Anyway, okay, so those are the things that I do. I try to use all the features. I try to use the shop feature. Oh, this is something, okay, so I don't know about you, but when I post on Instagram and I link to my shop products, I find that the performance and engagement is like dead. Like, I maybe get like 14 people who like it compared to like what's usual is like around 50 or 60. And not that like likes matter, but I don't, like, if you look at the analytics, people aren't seeing it as much. So what I might do is I might go back in after like 24 hours or so and link the product. And then sometimes I just won't even link it at all, and I'll do it through the link in bio. And I feel like that kind of, I don't know, something about the algorithm is like, if you're trying to sell something, get out of here. So okay, so Annie says, yeah, I have all the equipment. I also feel like I have to do background stuff like dressing nicer or making sure everything is super clean before recording. Some weeks I just don't have time to do all that. Totally. I hear you. Yeah, I definitely like to like look more presentable when I'm filming. So I hear you. Yeah, and if it's not happening this week, that's okay, right? If you feel inspired, great. If not, don't sweat it. That's kind of my philosophy. So yeah, okay. So I talked about like how it's weird if you put shop words and link products. I'd be interested to hear if that's happened to any of you guys, if that's something that you've experienced. It is not something that I've read anywhere. I just kind of have an inkling. So, I don't know, conspiracy theory, who knows? Anyway, okay, so let's talk about value-added content. So what does value-added content mean? So instead of just saying, here's my print, okay, you're gonna want to do something, print something that, or not print, type something that's like gives it more than just a, this is something cool I made. Like, you're gonna wanna make it more customer focused, more audience focused, and then also like, what is it good for? Who is it good for? Why is it useful? So like something I like to say, especially for my floral things, I said, this is great for that person who is so hard to shop for. They can put it anywhere in their house, you know, it's, and if they like flowers, it's something they don't have to water, you know, for busy people. So it's not like profound or anything. It's just like, what is helpful to others? Like, don't just be like, this is my favorite print because blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, that's a lovely detail, but like focus it on the customer first. And I find that the posts that I get that get the most engagement are ones where I'm sharing more about like the behind the scenes, like the process of what's happening and how these things come into your hands. Like the ones where it's just like product photos are nobody like seems to care, which is fine. But the ones where I'm sharing about like my personal journey to get to this point, or the ones where I'm sharing like, this is how it's done, these are the secrets behind it, seem to be a lot more engaging to people. So I found that that's the kind of content that people are finding valuable. Or thinking about it in the sense of like, what is something that somebody would save? So with the algorithm, if there's something that you would save, like a save is going to boost, if somebody saves your piece, they're going to boost it even higher than if it was just a like. And so thinking about like tidbits that could be helpful for later, which is, I don't know, it's kind of why I feel like I've taken this push into the BizBuds section a little bit more, because it's, I don't know, I feel like it's helpful information. It's things that you can take with you, you can leave, you know, you can take the pieces you want, you can leave the pieces you don't, and then it's just there so you can access it later. And that's, to me, seems like much more natural to me, you know, teaching background, so it's like, I think that just is where I'm most comfortable posting. But it's definitely, I feel like I'm posting a lot more for my business audience recently than my customer audience, which, I don't know, I'm interested to see where that goes. But I'm trying to figure out how to do better with making value added content for people shopping. So a good thing would be like when your holiday shipping times are cutting off, or like when your deadline to get sale like Father's Day cards out, or different types of notes that would make your Father's Day card unique, or something, like things you could write inside that's not just like, "Dear Dad, love you." So those kind of things, like, yeah, little guides or tips and tricks. Anyway, okay, so that's value added content. My second big goal in Instagram planning is community. So this is like one of my big personal values. This is one of my big business values, is community is really, really important to me. So like, I would much rather have, I think I said this earlier, I would much rather have 500 followers who I'm like connected with than like a gajillion people who are just like robots or whatever, or aren't truly interested. So to me, like, if when you get a bump of people and then like two fall off immediately and you're like, ugh, you don't want them anyway. They're not picking up what you're putting down, so it's not even worth the sweat, I guess. So I like to try to create content that builds that community. That is, I don't know about you, but like, I don't know, before I got into this, I like never commented on posts, but I think, it's a nice place where people want to share. So asking questions, this is a great way to get feedback from your audience. And it can be like as simple as, which one out of this carousel of images is your favorite? Or it could be like, if you're writing about something like, what's been hard for you recently and your productivity, it could be something a little deeper than that. So having some sort of action that you're asking your people to do. I think one part that I have trouble with is I'm like maybe asking too many steps. I'm like, go check out the link and let me know your opinion about this and blah, 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 blah. So I'm trying to focus on narrowing down. I'm either asking them to check out a link or to comment on the post, or maybe share it with a friend who they think might like it. And then quality over quantity. I think we talked about that a lot. But yeah, so those are kind of like my big pieces. I plan everything. I try to plan it in advance. I kind of have days of the week, like Mondays are usually my Makers Monday stuff. Tuesdays are Tuesday tutorials. Wednesday, I usually post about my blog, or like, hey, how you holding up? Like midweek check-in. Thursdays, I post about my gift guide, and Fridays are like Friday introductions. I do probably once a month, and then it's kind of like free choice. So if I'm working on a project that I really like, and then weekends, I sometimes post, sometimes I don't. Usually Sunday is like a self-care or like a Maker's Monday reminder. And then Saturday, I don't even know. Maybe it's just something that I'm like, I really like this painting, I'm just going to post it. So a little bit more casual. So that's a great way. Oh, something I was thinking about in community. Another really great way to, how much in advance do you prepare your planned content? So usually I'm like 2 weeks ahead. Recently I've been doing a real deep dive trying to get ready so that we can actually take a maternity leave. And I am like halfway through September now. So, I don't recommend that per se, but I just want to make sure I've got like consistent content. So I'm not like just falling off the face of the earth. Cause I know I'm going to have other things I want to focus on. But some things that can help, like we've done, I know that's like a lot of content and photos. I know people struggle to get like enough pictures. So whenever you're done with a project, just take a nice picture. You don't have to like edit it until maybe do like a batch day of editing. Thank you. Maybe do a batch day of editing, and then it's not like this annoying like daily task. We've also had a photographer come and she takes photos. Like she kind of does like half family photos and then like half biz photos. So she's actually coming in 2 weeks to do some shed photos, some maternity photos, some kind of like stock image type photos, but that are me and still on brand. So I found a photographer that I really like. I do have a blog about how to find a good styled shoot and how to like really make it a big bang for your buck. Because it's been huge. Like, I don't really post, stock images, but I have enough images that kind of make it that it's all me, but you got those generic kind of like, hey, I'm here, or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so we talked about grid strategy. Oh, we haven't talked about grid strategy. So when I'm planning my visual grid, you've got your 9 boxes that you can see or whatever. Maybe you can see 12, I don't know. But what I try to do is when I'm posting is I try to get, like, maybe if I'm doing like blue, orange, and like a teal or something, I'll try to do a couple of that, and then I might weave out the blue, and I'll do something with teal, orange, and pink, and then like kind of weave that through. So when I'm thinking about photos, it's got like a consistent flow, and something that makes this easier, because I know like you can't always plan that, it like to make your content match your color scheme. When I'm taking these stock photos and when I'm taking pictures, like I try to work, or what, like if I'm taking pictures of myself, I try to kind of keep with my color palette, which is just like bright bright colors. So it's a little bit easier to kind of mix and match. Like my thing is like cacophony of colors. And so good, I'm glad that was helpful, Paulina. And so I know like some people do the more neutral or like the kind of dusty, like desert colors. So whatever your color palette is, if you're still starting out and you're still like, I don't even know, it might come to you as you keep posting and you're like, I use those colors a lot. And it's like, yeah, I do. Maybe they should be my color palette, which is kind of what I did because I couldn't commit. So then I was just like, all the colors, great. But it seems to work out okay. Okay. Another fun fact. Oh my God, this is so long, you guys. Sorry, but another fun fact, posting self pictures is huge. I don't know what the deal is, but if I have a picture and it's just, my palette on like a plain background, it's like, okay, like cool, like. If it has my hand in it, like that's, more likes. If it has my face in it, even more likes. So it's like, okay, I mean, I know I'm cute, but like, no, I'm just kidding. But, like, I don't know why that is, but I think people really connect with, I'm trying to build a brand that's not just like the brand, I'm part of the brand. So if you have a business that you are the essence of the brand, show that face. People love to see it. So even if you're feeling shy or self-conscious, like, I don't know, I found that people are more than generous and kind. And I don't know, it's like some unicorn magic. Because you always think people on the internet are like so mean, but it's actually been really lovely. So, in my experience. So, yeah. And then, okay, we talked about, so another thing that can help is having content pillars, which is like your categories that you post about. So I'll go briefly into this. I'm going to do like a whole thing on content pillars and we can kind of work through what content pillars are helpful. Give me a little hand raise if you guys know what content pillars are. And if you want to share what some of yours are, that would be cool. But basically it's these zones of what you post about. So obviously post about my products. But I also talk a lot about self-care and body image and like taking care of yourself. And that's really important to me. And I weave it into what I'm posting about. I talk a lot about education and sharing and like that shine theory stuff and supporting other artists and entrepreneurs. That's really important. I'm not trying to bring anybody down. I only want to raise us up. And things are better together as a community. So that's one of my content pillars. And, I wrote them all down for the other one. But you kind of get the idea. It's like things that that are your like personal things that are important to you, that weave their way more or less organically through your posts. And I think as you post more about those content pillars, it's a way for people to connect to you as a human. And it'll become easier and not feel as like, well, how do I fit this content pillar into that? It'll, yeah. And then, okay, we talked about savable content. So anything that's savable, a little guide, a little tip, remind people to actually save it. Say, hey, don't forget to save this. It's going to be helpful come blah, blah, blah time, whatever. And then another thing that can be helpful is engaging before and after you post. Like those moments that you're posting, try to like draw people over to your page and be like, you know, it's a great time to kind of just scroll through, see some stuff that you like, tell them they're doing a great job and that you love their work or whatever. Like, you know, be genuine. And then after you post, as soon as people are posting those comments, like, don't be coy, you guys. Like, go give it, like, say, thank you so much. Like, that's so sweet. Even better if you can make it like part of a conversation. But those moments are key because it's counting that your post is getting more action, regardless if it's you or somebody else. So that's kind of cool. And it's just a nice way to connect with people, right? And then welcoming newbies. So I haven't done this, but gosh, now I'm going to forget who it is. But I followed somebody and I got this lovely little introduction post. And it was like, hey, how are you? Like, I love to hear from you. Thank you for following along. And it was like, I think, you know, she copied and pasted it, but it was like just so lovely. It was like a lovely little tidbit. So if you're feeling wild and want to try it out, let me know how it goes. I definitely want to try to work something in like that in the future. And, something else I do, if I follow somebody who I'm really loving, I tell them that I'm loving it. And I point to a specific piece and I'm like, I just love the colors in this. I think what you're doing is great. Like, you know, we all need a little love. It feels nice to hear that from somebody. So, hashtags, don't forget the importance of hashtags. You never know. Like I tagged something about like Seattle Farmers Market and they the Seattle Farmers Market reposted it and it was like a big bump. Like, so you just never know. Hang out where your hashtags are. So like follow some of your hashtags that you post a lot. And see what kind of things they're posting. And, that can be really helpful and kind of, you know, it's one thing to post like mompreneur, but like, if you don't know what's happening in there, like it might be nice to like see what's going on in there. Anyway, so I think that's it. At the end of the day, this is not your end all be all of business. You do not own your Instagram content. So even though we just talked for almost a half an hour about what you can do and what you can't do and, you know, how I think about this, at the end of the day, this is not going to be like, this is not something that you own. So if you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed about the pressure to create, I enjoy this, but some people do not. And so if you're feeling like this is a barrier for you, I would recommend focusing on building your email list and your product, because without a strong product, what's the point, right? And then without an email list is something that you truly own. And I will say every time I send out an email, I get at least one purchase. When I send out to like my newsletter, to my shopping group, I have like the BizBug group, I'm not really selling anything there, but like when I do my shopping one, I always get at least one purchase. And so that's been huge, that, you know, every little bit helps. So if Instagram is feeling overwhelming to you, you know, let me know. I'd love to like, you know, spitball some ideas and kind of some entry points for you, but hopefully this has been helpful. If you guys have any questions, I'm around. So next week we will be talking about what online tools really matter. And I'll have a blog coming out about how to audit your online subscriptions. So we'll be talking about which tools I use and are helpful, and I'd love to hear from you guys what's helpful as well. And so see you next week. Thanks for stopping by, you guys. This will all be on IG Live later. Okay, bye.